everybody who has joined us so far. I'm sure we'll get some other attendees coming up in the next few moments as well. It is my great pleasure to be here today. My name is Linda Fox. I'm a Regional Innovation Director with the Canadian Food Innovation Network. And we've partnered with our friends at Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada, Business Development Canada, and Magnet to bring you this session with regards to the Canadian Digital Adoption Program. So those are all the words around some acronyms that you'll probably hear throughout. We've got ISED, BDC, and we're talking about CDAP today. So if you hear those things, that's what we're talking about. In this session, you'll not only learn these wonderful acronyms, you'll also learn that all about setting up or improving your online presence to increase sales, how to get grants, and 0% financing to adopt technologies that will help your business to reduce manual labor and increase productivity. So with no more talking from me, I would like to hand it over to ISED's Jennifer Liu. She is Outreach Lead for the Canadian Digital Adoption Program, and she is keen to raise your awareness on this area of new ways to do business across Canada, including amongst CFIN and the agri-food sector at large. Jennifer, it's all yours.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Linda, for the warm handover. Today, we're here to talk about the Canada Digital Adoption Program, and I'm thrilled to share this presentation space with my colleague at BDC, the Business Development Bank of Canada, as well as my colleague over at Magnet. Well, my name is Jennifer Liu, as mentioned. Today, I'll be going over both streams in the Canada Digital Adoption Program, but we will spend a bit more time on the stream that's geared more towards medium-sized businesses. If you have any questions during my portion, feel free to take notes and save them for the Q&A portion after all of my colleagues have finished their presentation items. And I'll be happy to answer your questions then. So let's talk about CDAP at a glance. There are three main pillars to our funding program. First off, concrete funding is available to help pay for expenses for upgrading your business's technology. We'll see that depending on the stage that your business is at, a loan can be also added to the baseline grant. Second, to help choose what technology to invest in, businesses can seek and receive guidance from an industry expert based on their business's specific needs. I can say that, for example, if your business is in the agri-food sector, we do have specialists that have a background in agriculture and that domain to help you out. The final pillar, as we call it, is skilled labor, which is available to medium-sized businesses as well. Here's a short history of CDAP. In the 2021 federal budget, that's when the federal government announced a $4 billion investment to help Canadian businesses stay competitive on the world stage. That's enough to help up to 160,000 businesses who will receive assistance to adopt their digital technology under this funding envelope. Also, up to 16,800 funded work placements will be made available through CDAP. As I mentioned earlier, we have two funding streams. The first one is called the Grow Your Business Online Grant. It's intended for smaller sized businesses. These businesses may have started their operations a short time ago. They might have the annual revenues of a smaller sized business, but they're ready to take the step to leverage technology and extend their market reach to the next level. The annual revenue requirement for this stream is $30,000. Aside from that, as you can see from the bullets on the screen, the micro grants go up to $2,400. As I mentioned earlier, the grant can be applied towards the cost of e-commerce or digital marketing tools. This grant is provided by local and regional delivery partners across Canada, and through this, businesses can access expert guidance and services that are included in the program. The second stream that's offered through CDAP is on the right-hand side. It's the Boost Your Business Technology Grant. This one is geared towards medium-sized businesses. These businesses might already have technology that's embedded into their operations, and they might be at the stage now where they want to upgrade to the latest versions of the same technology, or they might want to further expand on their infrastructure. What distinguishes this stream from the smaller sized stream is the access to a 0% loan to pay for the technological upgrades. I'm sure that our colleague at the BDC will expand upon this during his presentation item. So to continue on with the highlights of this stream, the annual revenue requirement for the Booster Business Technology Grant is $500,000 to $100 million. Aside from that, the grant amount goes up to $15,000. The funds can be applied towards professional digital advisory services. It gives the business access to a network of Canadian digital advisors from the private sector who are vetted by the Government of Canada. And as I mentioned in an earlier slide, there are 16,800 funded work placements for small, medium enterprises that are undertaking their digital transformation. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail on the Grow Your Business Online grant. As you can see from the eligibility criteria, this is for for-profit businesses, including for-profit social enterprises and cooperatives. It's for consumer-facing businesses. It's for businesses that are registered or incorporated. And it's for businesses that can be accessed by customers or provides in-person services. As for a little bit more of the specifications, aside from the annual revenue requirement, which I mentioned earlier, is $30,000 in the most recent tax year, the business needs to have at least one employee aside from the business owner. As for the steps that the business will take to apply and qualify and see through to the distribution of the grant money, the first step is that the small business will go onto the CDAP website. They'll be referred from there to the service provider in their area. That's based on their province or their territory. The next step would be that the small business would be connected with their service provider and e-commerce advisor to determine the best solutions for their digital storefront, whether it's a new or an enhanced one. Lastly, at the end of the process, the eligible small business will receive up to $2,400 in microgrant money to cover the costs of adopting their new digital technology. We're here today speaking to the CFIN audience, so I can imagine that everybody gathered here has some connection to agribusiness or even to taking the next step to expand their presence online. Through CDAP, this will allow the business to expand their market reach while reducing costs at the same time to carry out their online operations, and they'll also have enhanced access to data to help them make smart business decisions. Now, of course, a word on the stream that's geared more towards medium-sized businesses, the Boost Your Business Technology Grant. It is a little bit more generous, I would say, in its provisions, so we can cycle through them quickly here. Step by step, here is the client journey map. The first step is that the client will receive a grant of up to $15,000 to hire a digital advisor. The advisor will perform a full tech audit of the business and produce a tailor-made digital adoption plan. One other thing that we really like to emphasize about this program is how intuitive and how in sync it is with the business's, for example, the business's financial records. And Something that's really special that stands out about this application process is that the applying business will see the result on screen in 10 minutes as to whether they qualify or not. This is because the portal is synced with the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency records. So that makes it just that much quicker. Now, on to the next step. Once the business knows that once the business learns that they qualify for this stream, then they'll be able to go into our digital advisor marketplace to choose who they would like to work with. The business will be able to choose and view based on their potential digital advisor's background, where they're located, their industry, and on it goes. So the business would be able to choose based on where their sectors align, as well as how they'd like to develop their business going forward. I've already mentioned that the Booster Business Technology Grant offers 0% financing loans to the qualified business. So the amount goes up to $100,000 to help make the purchases that will have been laid out in your plan, in your modernization plan that you'll have developed with your digital advisor. There's another optional feature of our program, of this stream in particular. It's the subsidized work aspect. The business will receive up to $7,300 to hire a student or a recent graduate to help the business to implement the new technology, which once again will have been elaborated on in the digital adoption plan. What are the eligibility criteria? Well, this grant is for-profit businesses. It's for businesses with full-time equivalent employees. That's between 1 and 499 full-time employees. It's for sole proprietors or businesses that are incorporated under the laws of Canada or the province or territory where they reside in. It's for businesses that meet all the requirements to be deemed a Canadian-controlled private corporation. And lastly, once again, there's an annual revenue requirement. It's for businesses making between $500,000 and $100 million based on the CRA's tax records from one of the previous 3 years. And a final word as to the application process. The business director or sole proprietor can apply on behalf of their corporation, or they can appoint an authorized delegate from their organization. To apply, applicants will need the following materials on hand. They'll need their personal banking login credentials, they'll need their CRA business login credentials, and they'll need their business bank account details for the direct deposit. And have I mentioned that the application process takes 10 minutes for the business to find out whether they're approved or not? You can see for yourself. Here's the QR code that you can scan with your smart device right now. It'll open up to the application portal. And if not, you'll see the link on screen there that you can type into your web browser to get your own process started. And on that, this concludes the introduction to the CDAP portion. I will hand it over to our colleague at BDC, Raphael Paquet, to present the BDC CDAP loan component of our stream. Over to you, Raphael. Oh,
Thank you, Jennifer.
There we go.
If I can just pop in for a moment. What a terrific overview. And that 10-minute thing, wow, I've not heard of that before. Thank you for that. As Jennifer mentioned, we will have question and answer time when all of the speakers have shared their information. Please do that through the Q&A button that you'll see at the bottom of your screen. And we'll make sure we get to that when we've had a chance to hear from everyone. And now I apologize, Raphael, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'd like to introduce Raphael Paquet of the BDC, and he is a product development lead with them. Thank you, Raphael. All yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Very glad to have you for this presentation. So we will be looking at the BDC CDAP loan. We can already move on to the next slide. So our quick agenda today is going to be 3 sections. We will be looking at the digital technologies that can be covered via the loan. We will obviously look at the loan amount, terms and conditions, and the process, and then a quick word on the use of the loan proceeds. Digital technologies. So what exactly are we talking about when we mention digital technologies in the context of the CDAP? Well, we can see on the next slide. So the first section of digital technologies is going to be what we call customer-facing activities. Clients who start their digital technology investing journeys will often start with customer-facing activities because the investment is often a little bit on the smaller size upfront, and the return is also quicker, usually in terms of realizing some quick wins. So customer-facing activities can be your company's website, online videos, either through your website or a third-party application, mobile apps developed for your business, email services, inventory tracking tools, and the e-commerce suite, which can go from a digital shopping cart, payment processing solutions, and everything encompassed in the e-commerce. The next category is called back office activities. Now, this encompasses, once again, many items, some examples which include 3D printing capabilities, automation within your business, IoT, which is the Internet of Things. It can also be an ERP, an enterprise resource planning software, or a CRM, which is a customer relationship management software. Moving on to cloud computing, invoicing softwares, services of analytics, and an accounting software, which is usually present in every business. Moving on to our second section, which is the CDAP loan in itself. Terms and conditions of the CDAP loan are fairly simple. So first of all, this is a 100% online application, and it is made available to you once you have completed your digital adoption plan with your selected advisor. It is a 0% interest loan, and no guarantees will be required. So you will not have to sign any personal guarantee or security agreement to receive this loan. Please note there are also no fees either for the application or ongoing administration of the loan. If you wonder about the amortization period, it is a total of 6 years, during which the first year is called an initial postponement of capital. So the first 12 months, you will have no payment at all to make on the loan. And then the next 5 years are going to be 60 monthly payments, which is basically your loan amount divided by 60. These are going to be your payments for the next 5 years. How much can you request for the CDAP loan? Well, it all depends on your annual gross revenues. So the two categories are, if your revenues are within $500,000 or $5 million, you will have a choice between $25,000 and $50,000 as far as your request. If your gross revenues are over $5 million, you will be able to request a loan between $25,000 and $100,000, once again, at your discretion. To qualify for this program, the minimum threshold of annual sales must have been met at least once in the last 3 years. The way BDC will look at your revenues or your sales to determine the maximum eligible amount is via your latest year-end financial statements. So to recap, the client chooses their desired loan amount based on their annual revenues, and BDC will base the final decision on the latest year-end financial statements of the company. Quick reminder, qualification to the CDAP program does not equal qualification for the CDAP loan. The company applying for a CDAP loan will have to meet the minimum credit worthiness thresholds of the BDC. Moving on to our next slide, we'll have a look at the BDC application process. Now, I will let my colleague Jennifer know that every time you will press next slide on this one, you will have one of the steps appear. So you can go ahead and make the 4 steps appear right now, which might make it easier for coordination. So once your digital plan has been approved and you have received your grant, you will get a unique link to your company via the client portal at ISED. Simply click on that link, which will take you to the loan application on BDC's website. Once you've completed the application, our online financing team, which we call the OLF CDAP team, will evaluate the loan request and then render a decision of either authorization or decline. Once your loan application is authorized, you will receive a letter of offer for signature. And once that letter of offer is sent back to BDC as accepted, the disbursement usually will happen within 1 to 2 business days. The overall processing time for this request generally spans within 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the volume of application and the client's response delay if there are any additional questions. We can move on to section 3, which is where we'll look at the use of the CDAP loan. So obviously the loan being within the CDAP program will mean that the proceeds must be used for the implementation of your digital plan, of which we've included some examples here. So it could be acquiring IT equipment, training staff or hiring new staff, materials and support services, installation of new technologies. You may also require some additional advisory services, or it could be updates to your current software or even a new CRM. So quick recap, the proceeds of the loan can be used to implement, deploy, improve anything that's been identified in your digital plan. So the digital plan really is the main driver for the use of funds. Final word on the disbursement of the loan and the audit. On BDC's part, there will be no validation of your digital plan. Instead, the audit right is given to ISED within the loan letter of offer. If an audit would uncover some unauthorized use of funds, the loan could be in breach and then could be recalled. As far as BDC's implication, BDC requires no proof of expenditure for the disbursement. The disbursement happens directly in the client's account within 1 to 2 days after everything has been signed, accepted, and received by BDC. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and I will now hand the floor to our colleagues at Magnet.
Thank you, Raphael. That was some terrific information about the what and the how of CDAP loans with BDC. I'm going to turn it over now to Catherine Stacey, who is a specialist on the program engagement team at Magnet. Go ahead, Catherine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's really great to be here today with all of you. And I'm really excited to talk to you a bit about Magnet, who we are, and how we fit into this CDAP ecosystem and how we can support your business as a part of that. So today I'm just going to go over, like I said, some introductions to Magnet, our role within the Boost Your Business Technology Grant, and then an overview of the funded work placement portion of CDAP. So how we can support your business using the funded work placement, some examples, and then some next steps and questions. And as mentioned before, you can put questions in the Q&A section at any time. Great. So if you've never heard about Magnet before, we like to refer to ourselves as Canada's only digital community workforce system. And what that means is we're really leading the creation of a digital infrastructure that's connecting organizations, job seekers, employers, and really people of all backgrounds to opportunities and support when it comes to the workforce. So our digital platform can unite a community of government, businesses, and job seekers, and really doing that and bringing all those stakeholders together, we're able to drive positive and inclusive economic growth. So Magnet is the official funded work placement wage subsidy provider for the Canada Digital Adoption Program, Boost Your Business Stream. So we are going to get into a little bit more about what that looks like. But as an organization, we're really committed to supporting both digital advisors and businesses participating in the Boost Your Business Technology Grant and really help you just maximize all the benefits that the program offers, and in particular, that funded work placement. So the funded youth work placement, Jennifer gave a great overview in the beginning in her presentation, but essentially what's available to businesses participating in CDAP Boost Your Business is a $7,300 wage subsidy to fund a work placement for a youth. So if you are an eligible SME and you've participated in the first aspect of CDAP, and you've worked with a digital advisor and had your digital plan approved by ISED, then you'll be redirected to Magnet's platform through your ISED account. So you'll receive an email from Magnet, and there will be a link also available on your ISED account, and you can be redirected to Magnet to get started on the wage subsidy application. So the wage subsidy application is all done on Magnet's dedicated platform. So once again, you'll receive that link that's unique to your SME. And you can go to Magnet and start filling out your application for the wage subsidy. You'll get access as well to one-on-one support from Magnet. So you can, email us and we can give you support with your wage subsidy application. And then you'll also get access to our pool of candidates. So you are able to bring your own candidate to the funded work placement, but you are also able to post a job directly onto Magnet's platform, the same platform that you've applied for the wage subsidy on. And that posting then will be able to be accessed by any job seeker that is eligible using our Magnet platform. And then towards the end of the placement, pending some additional documents being shared, you'll receive the payment from Magnet. So once you've made your hire and it's an eligible youth for the program, and we'll get into a little bit more about what that looks like, then you'll be able to receive the $7,300 wage subsidy from Magnet at the end of the placement of the youth. So we talked a little bit about the eligibility required for a youth to participate in this funded work placement. So businesses can hire a youth to help them implement their digital plan. So that's really key, that this wage subsidy is intended for youth hired to support the implementation of the digital plan as a part of CDAP. The youth must be 18 to 30. They must be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or a refugee with the right to work in Canada. And they can either be a current student or a recent graduate. So if they're a recent graduate, again, just within the age range and all of that other eligibility criteria, they have to be with a recent graduate within 2 years. And that can be from college, university, CDAP, Polytechnic Institute, or a private training institution. So any of these institutions, we have a full list of eligible institutions that their certification or degree can come from. So you're really easily able to cross-reference that with the credentials that your candidate has, and just make sure that they're eligible that way. And the same goes for if they're a current student. So if they're currently enrolled in any of these study programs or colleges or universities, you'll be able to cross-reference that to our list of eligible and approved institutions. So the youth must be paid for a minimum of 450 hours of work to be eligible to receive that wage subsidy. So once again, you can hire a youth either through Magnet's platform, or you can post in whatever way that you like. But as long as the youth meets all of that eligibility criteria and they're paid for a minimum of 450 hours of work, then you should be able to qualify for that $7,300 wage subsidy to be paid out at the end of the placement. So Magnet is really here to support businesses through the process of finding and funding the right talent as a part of the Canada Digital Adoption Program. So we offer dedicated support through email, phone, Zoom, and we also hold weekly office hours. And I'll share a little bit at the end where you can find information about that. We also have resources. We have our hiring portal. We have guides for you to use those, and we have frequently asked questions that you can access as well to help you through that process. And then lastly, as I mentioned before, we have talent. We have talent pools that employers can access through the same platform, the Magnet platform that they apply to the wage subsidy with. So they're able to go and post the job and access youth candidates who are eligible to work in the funded work placement as a part of CDAP. So one of the great things about being a delivery partner on this program is seeing all the impacts that are made when businesses are able to really benefit from that funded work placement. So in this case, we just collected a quote and from a CDAP business owner, just highlighting how much an entry-level youth with technical skills assisted with their back-end social media, digital marketing, and online business buildup. Again, all things that were related to their digital adoption program. So the youth that they hired was really knowledgeable in the field. And then in addition, it really provided the young person with a learning opportunity to build on what they already knew. So as I mentioned at the start, here at Magnet, we're really focused on using digital infrastructure to drive an inclusive workforce and an inclusive economy. And so I think it's really fabulous that when, young people are able to participate in this funded work placement. For a lot of them, it's a really critical early career experience that can really help them in their future. And when we do that, and when we really invest in young people in those early career experiences, it really drives our workforce forward. So it's really great to see all the impacts that the funded work placement is having, not only for this business owner, but just kind of in our early talent pipelines within technology as a whole. So on our Magnet platform, we have a number of candidates that are really, ready to work. They're ready to apply for jobs that you post and to participate in that funded work placement. So I just included here on the slide a couple of examples of ways that you might want to integrate a funded work placement into your digital adoption plan. So maybe you want to, hire someone to help you implement a CRM. You might want someone who has a background in computer science. We have candidates that have that background on the Magnet platform. You might want someone to support with marketing communications and digital advertising or social media, if that is a part of your digital adoption plan too. So there are candidates with that kind of background as well on the platform. And something I always like to highlight too is that the arts and science and humanities backgrounds can be really beneficial to the implementation of your digital adoption plan as well. So, if you want to hire a project coordinator or a digital transformation coordinator, that's still providing incredible experience for the youth, because as we know, young people entering our economy and our workforce really have to have those digital skills. And this is a great opportunity for them to build them, but also to provide your business with the unique knowledge and expertise that they have as young people kind of entering the workforce at this time of digital transformation for all of us. So that brings me to the end of the Magnet overview and the digital adoption funded work placement overview. If you'd like any more support, you can email us at any time at info@magnet.today. You can also attend our office hours. So if you're an SME that is participating in CDAP, we're happy to help with that. You can also visit cdap.magnet.today for more information on the program as a whole. And that's it for me. I really encourage anyone to continue asking questions. I have my wonderful colleague, Leslie Wong, here with me, and we'll be working to answer some questions in the Q&A together.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I found that tied everything together very nicely. As mentioned, there's a Q&A link at the bottom. We have a few questions in there now. Sorry, at the bottom of your screen. We have a few questions there now, and I'm just going to read those out for our panel. You'll be able to tell which ones are the right ones for you to answer. So I'll just start with the first one that we got. Why is there such a massive discrepancy between the small and medium-sized businesses? 30,000 to 500K revenue is vastly different.
I guess I can take this on. It's not meant to be a massive discrepancy. There is a little there. We do want to make this program accessible to smaller businesses, which might be closer to the 30,000 to 500,000 range, let's say. But the good news is that our program will be offering grants and funding until March 2025. So there is still time for businesses to see, for example, a spike in their annual revenues so that they'd be able to get closer to the $500,000 mark.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Next question, if we don't find the right expert for our business, can we refer experts into the digital advisory marketplace? This would be if there are more specific things that we need help with that may not be covered by existing experts.
That's a good question. At the same time as responding to Neha's question, I'll try to respond to the other inquiries about the digital advisor marketplace further down. So can digital advisors be referred into the marketplace? The prospective digital advisor would have to apply on their own. And this is where I'll mention about our intake periods for potential digital advisors. At the moment, when we speak, we're actually tweaking the intake process for digital advisors to open up the next period. It's coming this fall. And the last we heard, it'll be sometime in September. We don't have the exact date yet, but I can say that the way to be notified in real time of when the portal is available again is to sign up for our email subscription list. It's available on our website. So I'd be happy to post that link into the chat for everybody's awareness. And if you yourself are interested in becoming a digital advisor, or you know somebody that would be qualified and has the experience, then once again, the intake period is coming up, and I'll make the link available to be notified of when that comes out. I hope that answers 3 questions at the same time.
Yeah, I think it probably does. I noticed there were a couple on similar topic matter. Also, just a note for the audience, we're going to do our best to get to everything today, but if we are not able to answer everything today, we'll include responses with the follow-up email coming out of this recording in about a week. So don't worry if you don't hear your answer now, you will get an answer. Okay, not really a question, more of a note. Mary Beth has noted that MNP Digital is a trusted partner of CDAP. They have a full-service national firm to support small to mid-sized organizations, and you're welcome to contact them as well. Mary Beth, maybe you want to put your information in the chat also. If you have any questions that they can help you with, you can be in touch with MNP as well. Next question, what kind of software will be eligible? I know we did have some information about what is eligible. The question relates specifically for CRMs. Can it be American solutions like HubSpot?
I can take on answering this question. Yes, CRMs are very popular and they are included in many a digital adoption plan. The important step is to make sure that the digital advisor that you're working with notes that in your business's personalized plan so that it'll be eligible to, if you choose to take out the loan to pay for this upgrade, that you'll be able to get the funding that you need to pay for implementing this CRM. So as for the specific choice of CRM, of course, there's a wide offering out there. So that's to be discussed with your digital advisor. Perhaps there's a CRM that's tailor-made for your business's particular sector. So the nitty-gritty is for discussion with your specific digital advisor.
Okay. And we have a couple of questions also about becoming a CDAP advisor, but I think, Jennifer, you've already covered that. If somebody has a more specific question that we didn't cover, please do let us know. Are small businesses eligible to access any of these programs?
That's Dia's question, I see. Thanks for asking that question. You might have heard earlier in the presentation that we have 2 funding streams. There are different annual requirements for each stream. For the smaller stream, which is called Grow Your Business Online, it's more for, let's say, smaller businesses, smaller sized businesses. The annual revenue requirement for that is at least $30,000. For businesses that are a little bit closer towards the medium-sized category, then once they meet the $500,000 annual revenue requirement, then they'll be able to access the Booster Business Technology Grant. Hope that answers your question.
Is there a deadline to apply?
I mentioned it in passing while answering I think it was the question about becoming a digital advisor. For the moment, our funding is available until March 2025, and I can say that we're in no danger of running out. So in terms of a concrete deadline, the deadline to submit your application would be March 2025 as it stands.
So Jennifer, essentially an ongoing intake until that deadline rolls around. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Do we need a digital advisor if we only apply for the $2,400 grant?
That's a specific question. If we're talking about the $2,400 grant, that's the Grow Your Business Online grant. We have e-commerce advisors available for that stream, and they are an optional feature, so there's no requirement to approach an advisor in order to receive that grant. They're available to give a second opinion if the business so desires.
Same question for a $15,000 grant. Same answer?
Let's see. So as part of that stream, the Boost Your Business Technology Grant, having and working with a digital advisor is a core component of that stream. And so where the digital advisor comes in specifically is that they would develop the modernization plan, or we call it the digital adoption plan, working closely with the business based on their specific needs. At the end of that process, once the plan is developed, then the $15,000 grant will be used to pay for the advisory fees that the digital advisor will be billing to the business to develop that plan. Hopefully that helps to clear up where the $15,000 grant comes in.
Okay. Raphael, a question for you. I know you covered a lot of the things that the loan money can be used for, but specifically somebody is asking, can they use the loan for a new hire that was done just before the adoption plan?
That's a good question. So in essence, the answer would be yes, as long as their training and the hours that are going to be invested in are covered in the actual digital adoption plan. So again, coordinating with your advisor is your best course of action.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to chime in just to emphasize that it can't be overstated the importance of making sure that what you'd like to spend your money on is included in the digital adoption plan first and foremost.
Good advice. Okay. Will this type of program or another be made available to not-for-profit entities? I know, Jennifer, you had mentioned we were talking about for-profit businesses, but this is specific to not-for-profit.
That's right. And you're not the only one to inquire on behalf of a not-for-profit organization. As it stands, this is for for-profit businesses specifically. The federal government does have other funding streams to assist not-for-profit organizations. I will see if I have the bandwidth while I'm answering these questions to copy paste the link into the chat, but offhand, the resource is called the Business Benefits Finder. It's also available through the Innovation Canada website. And normally, if you do a Google search for Business Benefits Finder, then you'll also be able to come across that listing of financial assistance programs offered through the government.
Okay. Can the two programs be used together if you qualify for both?
That's a good question. We do have businesses that first apply for Stream 1 for the Grow Your Business Online grant, and then their financial situation changes and their annual revenues qualify them for Stream 2 as well. So yes, it is possible for businesses to qualify for both.
Okay, and I see that my colleague Adrienne has posted the Business Benefits Finder link into the chat.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thanks, Adrienne.
It's a wonderful tool. I would encourage everybody to take a look at that. Let's see here. There's been a few questions about getting direct emails to our speakers. I think for the most part, they've provided you with the best ways to get in touch with them through their programs. So we'll leave it at that. A link to the digital advisory marketplace. Do we have such a thing that we can include and drop into the chat?
I'll answer this question in two parts. Yes, there is a link, but it's only available to businesses that go through the application process and they're at the stage where they're selecting their digital advisor.
Okay, so the steps that were outlined earlier on in the presentation are the steps that you need to take in order to get access to that. I think there's one more here. The site says CDAP doesn't accept any more companies to be part of digital advisory marketplace. What if we can't find a company that matches our needs?
I mentioned earlier that at this very moment, we're retweaking our intake, our digital advisor marketplace to open it up again for the next intake period. So keep your eyes out for that in your email.
Okay.
We do have a wide selection of sectors that digital advisors hail from, and they do come from firms, for example, or maybe they don't belong to a firm. There's a wide selection, and they hail from backgrounds ranging from construction to agriculture to interior design to the restaurants and beverages and food services industry and so many other categories in between. We've spoken with many businesses as part of our outreach, and I've yet to come across a business that has had some difficulty or found that there wasn't a digital advisor that suits their needs. So we have thousands on our listing as it stands, and it stands to grow with this new intake period. So I would invite you to apply and to see what selection is available.
That sounds good. So Jennifer, fair to say that, thus far, you haven't found any gaps like that. Make the application and perhaps there's a conversation. There may be somebody there that you don't realize could be of help to you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, somebody is hoping to see more specific examples of how companies are using CDAP and BDC loans for agriculture and agribusiness.
I can take this on, but Raphael, if you're aware of anything else, feel free to chime in. Our program has, for example, we've been to the prairies and speaking with businesses as to concrete examples as to, for example, how the BDC loan can pay for the recommendations in their digital advisor plan. What's common in the agriculture sector is if, for example, you're out in the field and you have a grain bin, perhaps you want to install a sensor to monitor for moisture and temperature. So in this case, if the sensor is listed in your digital adoption plan as something that you would like to take the loan funding to invest in, then yes, that would qualify. A general rule of thumb that I like to say, regardless of the sector, is that if the technology can be monitored remotely, for example, on your smart device, if you can control the settings from there, then as long as you communicate with your advisor, then they'll be the one to put it in your digital adoption plan so that it qualifies for funding.
Anything to add, Raphael?
I would say that was an excellent answer. And then common probably to many businesses, we also see your basic software suite of accounting, CRM, ERP are often components of the digital adoption plan, and obviously not specific to the agriculture, but usually part of a solid basic digital plan for a business.
Okay. Next question, is there any approximate timing on that next advisor intake period? You may have mentioned it, Jennifer, but I slipped
Yeah,
through.
yeah, I don't mind repeating it because it seems to be a popular question. I mentioned earlier that as it stands, the next intake period will open up in September. The best way to find out in real time as to when the intake period starts is to sign up for the email subscription list for the CDAP program. That way, you'll probably find out at the same time as I will.
And that addresses part 2 of that question. Also, CFIN, we definitely do updates on our Yodel communications platform for any programs that we can and are involved with, like with the team here. They are also, all of our speakers here today are also welcome to post updates on the CFIN website. So we'll all do our best to make sure that the information gets out to everybody who needs it. Can a company with the same name but a different entity or corporation located in a different province apply separately?
I can take on this question. It depends on the CRA business records. So if you have a different CRA business number, and well, then that means you can apply for multiple iterations of the CDAP funding that your business would qualify for based on their annual revenues.
Okay. Can a business-to-business company apply for the smaller program, $2,500?
The CDAP is geared towards B2B companies, especially when we're talking about the Stream 2 Boost Your Business technology. I'm wondering if the person who's asking is thinking more from an e-commerce perspective, because there are, for example, businesses that have reached the $500,000 threshold, but they want to increase, for example, maybe they want to enhance their web presence. I'll go back to an earlier point I mentioned about making sure that all of the upgrades you like to make are included in the digital adoption plan. That means working closely with your chosen digital advisor. It'll be on your digital advisor and yourself to make sure that the upgrades you want to make are in the plan. So under that context, you can include, for example, upgrades to your e-commerce portal, your online marketplace. So I can't stress enough the importance of making sure that your upgrades are included and codified in your digital adoption plan.
That's an important point. Okay, we are coming close towards the end here of our time with everybody. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the people who shared all of the information here with us today. Jennifer, Raphael, Catherine. I realize I'm looking at you where you are on my screen, so if it looks like I'm not looking at you, I am. And to everybody helping out in the background, Leslie and Adrienne and everyone else that's been adding to the chat. Please do feel free to keep adding questions to the Q&A. As I said, what we don't get to today, because we're running out of time, we will definitely come back and provide answers in a follow-up in the coming week. And with that, I guess a lot of links have been dropped into the chat. I see Adrienne has added a few more there. Please make sure you take a look and click away on those. And finally, if you aren't already a member of CFIN, I would very much like to invite you to join our community. We're over 3,200 people coast to coast right now from all aspects of the food business. The more people, the better. Remember, it's an individual membership, and again, it's free. So don't think if your company has somebody with CFIN, then you shouldn't join. You absolutely should join. That way we get terrific, robust discussions with all different lenses of the business. So please do join us at CFIN. We're excited when we can bring this kind of information to the community. Our link is in the chat. As I mentioned, membership is not only free, but it gives you access to funding opportunities, one-on-one support from regional innovation directors. I'm only one of 5. I'm based in Ontario. I have colleagues, again, right across the country. We've got somebody in BC, the Prairies, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. And it gives you access to Yodel, which is our communications platform. And interestingly, and I think if you go over and take a look, you'll realize it is the first of its kind platform that unites all of these players right across the Canadian food ecosystem. A lot of fun, a lot of great, generous with their time discussions from our membership and from friends and colleagues like we've had here today. So Thank you again for joining us. I think we'll give you the last 5 minutes back so you can grab some lunch before you have to get back to work. And we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. And take care, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.